It's Impact with the Florida Star, the largest, oldest, and most read African American newspaper in Northeast Florida and South Georgia. And now, here's the host, the publisher of the award-winning Florida Star, Clara McLaughlin.
All right, this is Opio Saccone. I am sitting in the Florida Star office, also the office of 18.2 Star TV, with a great group of people. This is our first interview for the year 2016, and I got some great people in here. I'm going to go around and let everyone introduce themselves, and then we're going to get into some good topics. We're going to talk about entertainment. We want to talk about politics. We want to talk about Diamond in the Rough, this television show that's being filmed and taped right now. But also, we want to talk about some things that we can expect or should be expecting in the year 2016. So I'm going to start off.
Thank you, Opio. I'm professionally known as Stephen Michaels, and I'm a producer and a writer and an executive with Caddy Entertainment. We're also an affiliate of World Star Hit Radio. So that's worldstarhitradio.com, and we're just happy to be here, Opio.
All right, and we're going to get back to some of the things Mr. Michaels has done. All right.
What's going on? This is Mikael Ware, the young heir of the throne, soon to be, from worldstarhitradio.com. And Caddy Entertainment, glad to be here.
Hi, my name is Bernicia Womack. I'm CEO of Business Minded Women, LLC, and I'm executive producer of Diamonds in the Rough. I'm glad to be on the set with you today.
Hi, my name is Kyra Rawls, and I am the founder of Art Bully. I'm a makeup artist, and I'm going to be on the show Diamonds of the Rough, and I'm really excited about it.
Okay, 2016. Some really interesting things are going on in the news right now. We had a couple deaths that took place. We had the daughter of Nat King Cole, Natalie Cole, died. We had one of my favorite authors of the ISIS Papers, Keys to the Color, Frances Cress Welsing, died in Washington, D.C. lately. And of course, people's loved ones are dying, and people are being born right now as well. Talk a little bit about some of the deaths that are going on right now. Natalie Cole, Frances Cress Welsing.
You know what? And those deaths are surprising to me. I know that they say that God makes no mistakes, and that when people die, there's someone else born. But I tell you what, it doesn't feel good when you know that you're losing pioneers and we're not replacing them. We're losing people that have fought the fight, and what I would like for us to notice by these deaths and by these people's lives, that we need to wake up, because we never know when it's going to be our day. You can say what you want to say about Natalie Cole's life. She was a legend. Her dad was a legend. You can say what you want. Even our local Calvin Pete. He was a golfer, one of the first African Americans to achieve the accolades that he achieved on the professional golf circuit. So I mean, I'm saddened about Calvin Pete, because there has not been another local black golfer that has been able to achieve what he achieved.
And when we was raised, Meadowlark Lemon and Curly, they were the Globetrotters, and Meadowlark Lemon, I think, just died as well, right?
Yeah, Curly, all of them. So I mean, and what I'm saying is, we need to replace them. We need to get in our place and make that stand and live, that their living wasn't in vain.
Right, okay. And so then we're talking about replacing, and these are two incredible women. And do we not have some women that are coming up that are doing some magnificent things?
Yes, we do, and we will. I think they're actually in the incubation process right now, and we'll be definitely hearing from them shortly.
And we got something else is going on. We got youngsters that are taking part in the struggle.
Oh, yeah.
Now, a lot of these police killings are killings not just by police. Michael Dunn killed Jordan Davis, right? You have Trayvon Martin. He was a youngster that got killed. So we not growing up with these youngsters saying, oh, there's no racism. Not in the black community, they're not. But we're seeing a lot of them are being sensitized to racism and are fighting on the front line right now.
Well, yeah, we are. The biggest thing now,
How old are you?
I'm 30. Mm-hmm. And, being a young black male, and I already can't get pulled over without an officer seeing, my record. I've been in trouble. I've lived my life. I've done my thing. That's the past. And for me being black, you're pulling me over, looking at my record. It's like, what do I do? Do I just, be scared and show him fear to where the point where he even try me because he feel and smell my fear. I mean, right now these trying times, it's like, okay, stay out of trouble. Be smart. Mind the small laws of the land. Okay, don't run a red light. I'm speeding a little bit. Let me pull back off the speed a little bit. And it's just like recognizing and then utilizing everything that's being brought to us, because us as being young black men, people as a race, we have all the avenues. We just got to kind of like just shine away from society and just do it. Me as who I am, all my family are behind me. All my family are successful in what they do. You may not be the rich, but that's what I'm here for, to pursue all these different avenues, to listen to all these different things that the older people are telling me.
No doubt. Well, let's go from the young to the old. Bill Cosby. Yeah. Bill Cosby is in the news right now. And this is a big deal. It's going from 2015 on into 2016 because he actually got charged. And we all remember the Cosby Show, the legacy of that show. I can remember arguing when I was in law school. I was living in this rooming house, and it was a hood, boy. And one of the dudes in there, we got into this argument about, that's not reality. There's no black lawyers and doctors married. And I said, no, that might not be your reality, but there are doctors that marry lawyers that are black, that raise children, that do well in life, right? So how do we take the issue with Bill Cosby? Because if you say, oh man, I love Bill Cosby and, I don't care what he did, but that could be your daughter that receive whatever type of negativity that some of these women are coming out, and everybody don't believe that every one of those women are lying, right. Even if it's 100 years from now that right. 100 years ago it did happen. Somebody was hurt or something did not happen right in that process, and so we have to think on both sides of this whole thing. How do we deal with Bill Cosby legacy, black people, and this whole issue of sexual abuse and harassment?
Well, Trick Daddy said something, and Trick Daddy is a hip hop artist, predominantly in the 90s. He was very successful, but he had a song, and the song the title of that song, "You Still Are a Bleep," you still are a black person, but he used the N word. He said that when I see things like this happen to Bill Cosby, when I see how they differentiate, how they publicize, how they demonize all of our leaders or our blacks that fall, our blacks that are exposed for their infidelities, when they do us, they roast us. They just broil them or boil. And when I say them, I mean any other race besides white. Any other race besides white. Besides black. Well, any other race besides white, they're gonna boil. They just gonna tear them down. Bill Cosby, if he did it, if he didn't do it. Same thing with OJ. Same thing with all these other people. All I'm trying to say is that I'm not going to argue the fact of what they did, but still it doesn't justify how you handle it. There's a due process. I mean, you're a lawyer. There's a due process in anything. But we know we don't get due process. And so I guess, so what and this is what gets me, Opio, is that so what you're telling me is that, okay, baby, and this is what they told me. Now, you a black boy. And now, because you black, you got to work twice as hard. You got to do this. Why do I have to do it that way? I am an American, unfortunately, but I'm an American. I was born in this country. That's my nationality. I guess you would say that's my citizenship. I wouldn't call it my nationality. It's my citizenship. So I am an American. But at the same time, so you mean tell me I've got to walk a different walk? And I guess at the end of the day, and I tell my son that at the end of the day, that's right. We don't have the same privileges. We're not. We weren't brought over here to be to live here. That they were lonely. We were brought over here to work. We were brought over here to be slaves, and we were brought to build their family. Why would we think that the 10th generation away from them same people that brought over slaves want us to live any different? They don't like us.
Well, we're not even talking about 10 generations when we talk about the civil rights movement, right? There were people in the civil rights movement, they bombed churches. They didn't just bomb one church. They bombed, if you name a number of the people's homes that are in the civil rights, they bombed their houses and their children were inside. And most of them were very, very lucky. Or when they shot them in the back, like they did Medgar Evers. But this is the 50s. And then the 60s, you see water hose being turned on men, women, and children. Those people are still living today. That's right. And so I think we have to begin thinking of some of the major leaps and bounds that we have made in making this country a better country. Yeah. But I agree with you. Just because I'm black it should not mean I have to work as extra hard. I should not mean that, like my brother Mikhail say, when the police stop me, I have to do all this wondering, and because I'm not a coward. Right. And so I just so in this society I have to die when I get stopped by the cops because I'm black. Right. No, it shouldn't be that way. And so that's why we have to get out there and fight. Contributions.
They want all of our. They love to laugh at our jokes. They love to look at our athleticism. They love our entertainment. They love us to clean the floors and raise their children and do all the menial work that most minorities do. They love that part of us. But if we step out of that box, we're supposed to act a certain way, just like we can't go through the front door. We can't eat or drink out of that faucet. We can't. No, man. And it's still going on, and it hasn't changed. And what my fear is, I'm 50 now, and the gentleman that y'all heard speak earlier, Mikhail, that's my son. He's 30. Now we've got only 20 years difference. In 20 more years, I'll be 70 years old. I don't know how active I'll be, and I want to make sure that he has a level playing field, at least in the industry that he decides to work in.
No doubt. Okay, I wanted to talk a little bit about this taking over of in Oregon of this federal lands, and actually I think those federal lands belong to natives in concert with the federal government. And so you had these, what they call the militia. If they were black or they were a Muslim, they would be called terrorists. And they're armed. You don't even have to be armed if you're a protester, and you can still get shot at and have seem like the government, from local government, come down on you, as we've seen in various cities who are protesting against police brutality. Why is it we're seeing sort of a double standard when it comes to these armed citizens taking over a federal building? What's happening there?
Of course, there's always been a double standard for us, just like you said. When Caucasians they get rowdy. But if there's a game or something, they start tearing up everything. But if there's an injustice and we tear some stuff up, then it's a riot, and But I think they're protecting their own. Basically, that's all that it is. It's not going to change until we get down to the generation that hasn't yet been tainted by them yet. I think the ones that are growing up right now, the actual, I would say from middle school down, they're changing a little bit more, but none of that's going to change at this point with the current generation that are the militia or whatnot. You can look at the young kids that were protesting with Baltimore, Ferguson. They sent out the troops, and and everybody for that. But this whole thing with Oregon, they didn't do that. I mean, where are they? They're not doing anything. Or they put in the news, but I mean, besides Facebook, I wouldn't have known too much about it. They put that thing around the clock all the time. Ferguson, Baltimore, all the protests, any protests, even with Rodney King and everything else, they put out all those things continuously and pumped it out. But with this, they don't do that. And I mean, when you invade somebody else's land, you take over a federal building. They've already crossed the line. So now, but where's the military? Well, how are they extracting them? They're not doing any of that. So at the very end of the day, it always falls back to the government, who is control of everything, and then it goes down to the government, to the state, and everybody else. And once they change, if we get all of them out of office, then maybe we can start something fresh and something new. But we have to change them first before we can do that.
All right, y'all, that's Benicia. She is the host of the Diamonds in the Rough TV show that's going to be coming out soon. I'm telling you, you're going to be happy that was created here in Jacksonville, because I'm talking about national, international type of flavor this show is going to have. I tell you what, we're going to go to a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about that as well as some other local things. So y'all stay right here on Impact. This is OPO.
You're listening to Impact with the Florida Star.
All right, we are back. Impact, just some good people in here. We've talked about Bill Cosby. We talked about activism. We talked about the militia, what they're doing over there, race and those type of things. But let's talk a little bit about local. Now, we're in a city that we definitely need to think about violence, and how do we creatively look at ways to end or at least decrease the violence in neighborhoods across the city. What are we not doing, or what can we do that you guys believe that will help along those ways? And I'm talking about those of us who are entertainment, those of us who are the professors, those of us who are the activists, those of us who know a lot of people. Everybody in this room, you're tastemakers, right? You got influence, particularly in the areas where young people really gravitate toward. No, I'm talking about the entertainment area. Is there something that we're not doing, or something that we can do?
Well, I'm always going to take it back to the homes. But, okay, we're just going to have to accept the fact that, for an example, I have one child that's still in school. My wife works with one child. She works with that one child. It takes them sometimes 3 hours to do his homework. I have a burden for a woman that has 4 kids, the same age, with all.
I appreciate it.
with all that homework. So I'm saying that us as entertainers, those of us that maybe can afford to give a little more. I know these preachers are gonna get mad at me, but I'm just saying the churches, in my opinion, with the millions and millions, just even in Jacksonville alone, you could comfortably say, and this number is so low, but there's $1 million a month in offerings, in the change offerings in Jacksonville, I'm sure. Just with that money there, you want to know what we can do. You can take that money there and begin to assist and aid these parents that have multiple children that cannot take care of them all themselves. They cannot do it, and there's not a family structure there. So I don't want to take up all the time, because I'd like to hear what the younger people have to say. But in my opinion, as far as us that have entertainment, we can put out positive stuff that promotes just that. Taking care of the youth, raising them up in the way they should go, and education is the key.
Because the criminal justice system in Jacksonville, it seems like they just love to put money into the criminal justice system. So in Jacksonville, we got this huge courthouse instead of Penn Station, or instead of, I forget what they call it in D.C., where they create this hub, this transportation hub with all these businesses and making money for the town, instead of trying to figure out ways to put, and it's going to be black boys and girls in jail and make money off of that.
Well, the biggest thing with that, when it all comes down to it, it's politics. We that's something that, us younger black kids and just not even kids, just younger black male and females, we're caught into that. The biggest way I think that we can help, me as, me being in entertainment and looking at the youth, because they are so headstrong. Like, if you're in the streets, you're gonna be in the streets. It's the only thing that can possibly take you out the streets is what is the biggest thing is if you're rapping or you're gonna play sports. Nobody's out here telling us to be a lawyer. Nobody's out here telling us to be a doctor. And for someone to put it in entertainment to tell us young black people to be doctors and lawyers and whatever, we look at them as lame. So it's like the babies. I mean, you know, not really just so much skip a generation, but we have to raise these babies before they even get to a point where they're starting to make that decision. Like, you know, I want to be this way. I want to sag my pants. You know, get them right before they reach that. You know, like he was saying, the pastors, a lot of the community, you know, people who are in the community, you know, I mean, there are community centers. I mean, you know, whatever money that they have to reach in and grab, grants or whatever, they can open them up. Give these kids another outlet besides school, home, streets. Let's play basketball. You know, 'cause we love playing sport. I mean, we black. We gonna play sport. We go. You know, even go in there and as we, you know, play sports and then open up a media lab for them. You know, let them play on the computer and have someone in there like, hey, you know, look at this, and then you can go out and play. You know, but you know, just we need more and more outlets. You know, first, so much is starting with the parents to encourage the child to, you know, do your homework, bump them streets, go to this community center, go to church, you know, and don't let it be just, you know, they're praying and beating, you know, the Bible into them. Just give them something else to do. I think that's probably one of the biggest things.
Man, it's so great that this is running on a gospel station, and you're hearing that. And there are some pastors they'll listen to this and they'll get upset, but then those pastors who are most effective will say, okay, I've heard something. Okay, well, let me take this to the church and let me talk to that social justice ministry. Let me create a social justice ministry. Let me create a youth ministry that's going to do some amazing things. Let's start thinking outside the box. And I think there are a lot of pastors that are out there right now that are on that. I tell you what, we're going to go to one more break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about Diamond in the Rough. And once we talk about it, you're going to see why I have these people in here right now. This is Opio, and we are on Impact.
You're listening to Impact with the Florida Star.
This is Opio, and I am back. Bernicia is the host of a show called Diamond in the Rough. This is so important that we figure out who's living in Jacksonville. There are some amazing people that live here that a lot of us don't even know about. When I think it was Natalie Cole that died, I was told that her mother used to live in Jacksonville, actually in Ponte Vedra. I found out that, you know, a number of different people that have lived here and died. There's some amazing people, and we don't have those records to be able to show, except word of mouth and people who know this and that. Well, this is a type of show that can kind of bring this together, and the reason it's so important, those of us who do research, or those of us who's in the newspaper business, we are constantly getting phone calls where people want some record or something that happened. Well, this will be a video and audio type of record that you can have of some of the amazing things that are going by and about amazing people, not only in Jacksonville, but around the country. Benicia, tell us a little bit about the show.
Okay, well, Diamonds in the Rough, of course, is to shed the light on our southern jewels here in the city. A lot of people may or may not know, but Jacksonville was basically the original Hollywood. It was a hub of a lot of media, a lot of film, black media especially, and there came a point to where it eventually burned down. And since then, they've never been able to kind of regain that type of footing that they had before. And I believe that during that time, Jacksonville lost its culture. We were talking about students, like kids, and things that they needed to look up to. Well, this is something they can look up to. This is something they can aspire to know that they can live on the east side, or they can live on the north side, or whatever side of town. They can have any type of situation, but you can kind of rise out of that. Regardless if you live in Jacksonville or any other place, you don't have to be labeled or be put down to from your circumstance. You can always change that. And, you know, there's a lot of, when I grew up, there was a lot of gang activity around me. and I was in elementary school, and I had the Boys and Girls Club and everything. And if it wasn't for the Boys and Girls Club, I tell anybody I didn't think that I was going to live to be 18 years old, or I was going to have like a whole bunch of babies. That's just the reality of the situation. So what I want to do with Diamonds in the Rough is kind of put that culture back, let the children see like, hey, if you want to be something, you can be something. It's actually doing something for my own children, for them to see that mommy says she's going to have a show. So she's doing this. Mommy has a business. She's doing this. Like, people are going to see my mom's business. And that's all that I'm putting into them. Like, you don't have to, anything that you can think of, that you can conceive, then you can do it. You just have to find the avenue. And the biggest thing that you have to do too is you have to network. And that's what, there's a hidden network under, with the people that I know. We've been running for a long time together, and everybody is connected to a point to where we all can prosper and blossom together. And that's what this show is also doing, is showing how that we're connecting the dots. And when we connect the dots, we're seeing amazing things happen. Even with me meeting you. And I met you through somebody else, through Michael Ware and Mikhail, Caddy Entertainment, and also another young lady that was going to be on the show. I met the Art Bully from. But we've all known each other. We went to high school together. And it just, from even then, keeping in contact with somebody that I went to high school with, and then also too with everybody else that's a part of the show. It's a big network, a big unit, but we're all pushing for each other. And that's what I want to show people as well, is that if you all come together and push a project, then you can create some amazing things. And a lot of people, they don't see that. They don't see how everybody, because on TV right now, what do you see? You see, the cattiness, the fighting, being petty. I mean, come on, we're grown. So now I want to show a different era of black person, of knowledge. Like, we can be smart. We're very intelligent. We can put together events. We can put together, projects and be professors and lawyers as yourself, and be a school teacher or, a doctor. But these are some tangible things that they can actually see and not just hear somebody tell them that you can be.
And oh man, we're run right up on the time, and so we have to get out of here. This is OPO. Make sure you pick up a copy of the Florida Star newspaper. I'd like to thank my guests for coming through, and also make sure that you tune into 18.2 Star TV, and we are out of here. This is OPO. See you next time on Impact.